Dun 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 dun. We are back. And hello, everybody, and welcome to your new segment of K Sports. We will be going, we have Soul Controller here joining us, Feel
Thank
the
you.
Burn, and we actually have a new guest, new MMA analyst, Source Glory.
What's up, guys?
That's right. Welcome to
Pleasure to be
Soul's
here.
Glory.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
So tonight we're gonna mix things
Absolutely.
up a little bit. Tonight we're gonna start with MMA. Then we got NFL recap from Week 15. We're gonna go over top performers, go over the NFL playoff picture, have a Cave League update for you guys, have some Week 16 starts and sits, a little poll recap, and then as always we do the World Cup update last, and we got a little bit of wrestling action for you as well.
Excellent. With that said, Kyle, can we please get your MMA breakdown?
Yes, sir. So, everybody, my name is Kyle. I go by Source Glory. I am an aspiring amateur Muay Thai fighter. My record could be better. I'm not going to disclose that right now, but staying in there, hanging in there, and I'm a big MMA fan. And you know what? With that said, let's segue into a very controversial headline. So Conor McGregor is my favorite fighter of all time. I'm sure you guys know of him. Everybody knows him. He's got some pretty good liquor
Absolutely.
too. He recently said that he was going to give middleweight a go at some point, 100%, quote unquote. And that was on Twitter. I believe him. I mean, if you look at these pictures, this guy has,
Mhm.
made headlines. He's changed the game completely. I was completely amazed when he was at featherweight and he knocked out Jose Aldo, and then he
Mhm. Mhm.
became the first double weight champ when he beat Eddie Alvarez. And despite his two losses against Dustin Poirier, the guy is the consummate legend. He is the face of mixed martial arts. I'm pretty sure anybody would agree with
Absolutely.
that. Yeah. Do you want
Right.
do you want to riff
Just
on
seeing
that, Danny?
just seeing his run up. Yeah, I just want to say, like, years ago in the mid 2000s, early to mid 2000s, like, he had a great run. I remember watching all of his fights. Well, not all, but when I'd go watch them, it was just the excitement of that the people would bring to see his fight. So there was something about him that he had, like, I like to say that Mamba mentality where he would just come and mess things up. Like, and I would say it in another way, but he would just come and wreck it up in the octagon. So for him to come and say, "Hey, I'm going to try to do middleweight," hey, I believe it too. And who knows, maybe he could come and wreck havoc like he did before.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like you said, in the mid 2000s to 2010s, when he was making his rise, along with his charisma, his star power, the way he carries himself, the way he trash talks at press conferences and whatnot. You know,
Yeah,
the, the
yeah.
the guy's not only formidable, physically as a fighter, but he's formidable, mentally. His philosophy is old school. He's a student of Bruce Lee. His philosophy, Jeet
Hmm.
Kune Do. And like I said, even though he lost against Dustin Poirier and basically snapped his leg in half. um
Pretty much.
yeah, and he was forced to take time off because of those losses and because of that
Right.
injury. And clearly he's gained some weight, and I was watching a podcast, Flagrant, with Andrew Schultz and Akash Singh, and they were making fun of the before and after pictures of Conor McGregor. And if you look at him, man, like he was struggling to make featherweight. He was struggling to make 145. I'm pretty sure he's walking around at what, like 170, 180 probably. So
I mean,
cutting
based
down.
off that picture we have, yeah, it looks he's big,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, and if you look at the picture on the top left, like he looked like ghoulish. You know what I mean? He
Hmm.
looked he looked like malnourished. malnourished. And the picture on the right, he looks like ugly, kind of. You know what
Is
I
that
mean? He looks
right?
horrible. He looks horrible,
Right.
man.
So
But
what's the prospect like? What's it looking like in the future then? So he's coming in the middleweight, and what's going to happen moving forward now with him?
well, he's fought at welterweight against Cowboy. He won against Cowboy, but Cowboy Cerrone's been fighting since what, the early 2000s, and he fought him on his way out of mixed martial arts. So clearly he won that fight. Clearly he can make welterweight with no problem. Based on how he looks now, I'm pretty sure he could give it a go at middleweight, but I think I don't think he would do well personally, just because I think his strengths, especially from what we saw at featherweight and lightweight, where his was his agility, his footwork, his
Hmm.
ability to control the ring and control distance. His style wasn't the traditional Muay Thai, just stand and bang. It's very much like a mixture of Taekwondo and Jeet Kune Do, where you're going in and out of the pocket, and
Hmm. Hmm.
you know what I'm saying. So
I
so
hear you.
yeah, yeah, I'm sure he could give it a go at middleweight, but with contenders like Israel Adesanya, Hamzat Chimaev, really, with that
Ooh,
broken
yeah.
with that broken leg at middleweight, bro. I don't know, man. But you never know with Connor. He was called Mystic Mac for a reason. He's
Right.
every time he said he was going to manifest, a particular result, it would happen. He
Hmm.
said, man, I really thought, the Jose Aldo fight back in 2012 was going to be, or 2015 was going to be, a banger, but he knocked him out in what, 13 seconds with the exact punch that he predicted. So yeah, I'll wrap it up with that. Conor McGregor, he could probably go to welterweight. He could probably go to middleweight, even light heavyweight if he keeps doing those steroids. But
Hmm.
I don't know if he'll do well. I think he should, stick to lightweight, maybe welterweight, and uh,
Gotcha.
try to do it from there. Sorry, that
Okay.
was a lot, guys.
Okay.
Thanks for
No, no,
listening.
no. Keep going. What other headlines do we have for MMA?
Yeah, so I think we're gonna go ahead and talk about the heavyweight division.
Okay.
The reason why I want to talk about the heavyweights is because it's just been stagnant for such a long time. It's ever since DC, Daniel Cormier and Stipe.
Hmm.
Um, were trading the belt back and forth, and then DC retired. That belt's just kind of been floating around. So the last time the belt was actually active was when Francis and Stipe fought, and then
Hmm.
Francis completely destroyed Stipe with that left hand. I don't know if you guys
Oh
remember
yeah.
that fight, but he completely knocked
Yeah,
him out with
yeah.
a jab. Francis is one of the scariest men, on this planet. So um, I digress. It's stagnant. Uh, Despite how boring and how uneventful it is, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen, just because of the talent. We got Jan Blachowicz. We
Hmm.
have Glover, who beat Blachowicz in the second round with a rear naked choke.
Hmm.
Um, Blachowicz beat Reyes for the vacant belt when Ngannou, was going through those negotiation issues and whatnot. And then if
Hmm.
if you I don't know if you guys saw that recent UFC fight night, but Tai Tuivasa, the guy who was doing those shoeies, drinking the beers out of those random nasty ass
Yeah,
shoes.
yeah, him.
Yeah, man, he
Hmm.
was he was he was coming up. He was doing well, and he got destroyed within like a minute by this guy named Sergey Pavlovich. And I had
Uh-huh.
not heard of Sergey Pavlovich until that fight, but this guy is basically, I think he's 17-1, and
Okay.
that that one loss is against Alistair Overeem. the
Hmm.
legendary Alistair Overeem,
Hmm.
glory champion, former UFC light heavyweight champion. So yeah, the talent is abundant. We have Jiri Prohaska, who's that
Hmm.
samurai. He got injured. He had the belt, but he had to vacate the belt because of his injury. Um, we got Glover, Ngannou beats Cyril Gane, but what we really want to see is John versus Ngannou.
That'd
And
be
I think,
great.
yeah, with we
Yeah.
if you've watched YouTube and any reels recently, John's like moving up to 250 now. He's doing some
Hmm.
crazy muscle building and whatnot. So seeing him against Ngannou would be amazing. I don't know when that's going to happen. Hopefully March, from what I've heard. Um, but watching Pavlovich, I don't know. You guys should really take a look at Sergey Pavlovich highlights. This guy is a monster. He is
All
he's
right.
basically he's the Russian version of Francis Ngannou. So
Oh,
um,
okay.
yeah, seeing
Nice.
him versus Ngannou would be amazing. Seeing John versus Ngannou would be amazing. I don't think Stipe is going to come back. Stipe is actually a full-time firefighter as well
Yeah.
in Cleveland. So, um, hopefully the UFC kind of closes the deal and signs, John versus Ngannou, or hopefully
Hmm.
Sergey versus Ngannou, and we can see some fireworks. But
Is Francis Ngannou champ right now? Is he still champ right now?
no, he is not champion at the moment. The b-
Oh,
the
who?
belt the belt the belt has been vacated. No, nobody has the belt. So
Oh, okay, okay.
Jiri Prohashka um, beat Glover Teixeira for the belt recently, and then he
Hmm.
had to vacate the belt because he injured his shoulder during that fight. So now the belt's just
Gotcha.
in the air. Yeah,
In the air.
It's up for
Okay.
grabs.
up for grabs, man. And I want I
So yeah,
want
it'd be
John.
great.
Like,
John Jones, you're saying, right?
yeah, yeah, John
Yeah,
Jones.
John Jones versus Francis Ngannou would be a great match to see for the heavyweight belt. That's
That would be
awesome.
crazy. That would be a crazy fight.
That'd bring a lot of eyeballs for sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
the eyeballs are going to keep coming, man, because the entire landscape of the entire UFC is ridiculous. If you take a look at that picture, we got Pereira, who just beat Israel. That was freaking nuts. Islam's probably going to be champion for a while, unless Volk right there in the middle can beat him next year. Leon finally got the belt for the UK, beating Usman, and
Oh yeah,
then
yeah.
yeah, with that left kick. Um,
Right.
but Danny, what do you think about Volk versus Islam? Because Volk's a champion for the 145 belt, and he's going up to try to be a double champ to beat Islam.
I'll be frank with you, Kyle. I enjoy MMA. I like UFC. I mean, even in my past, I trained a little bit,
Oh,
but
nice.
right now I know a little bit. I know just a tad bit, but I'm getting back into it
Okay.
to watching UFC. So these names sound familiar, really, but I don't know much. What I can say is that these are top notch. These are top notch fighters, and so most of the time you're going to get a great fight out of it. So I mean, to see two top contenders, whether it be a champion versus the number one contender in UFC, you're always going to expect a great fight. I mean, once in a while, yeah, you're gonna you're gonna get something a little boring. They do a lot of grappling, not a lot of striking, but that's part of it. I mean, you as an MMA fighter, you probably understand. Okay, what's going on, but but yeah, I mean, I would never expect like a bad fight between a champion and a number one contender. So, I mean, if that's what you're asking, heck yeah, man, I'll look forward to it. Whoever it is, whichever weight division it is, I'll start watching it now because I have more time now too.
Definitely. And you mentioned grappling being boring. I still kind of feel that way too, because I don't practice wrestling or jujitsu or anything like that. I just do stand
Okay.
up. I just do Muay Thai. But um in regards to grappling, the more you kind of study it, the funner it becomes. But in regards to grappling, Volk versus Islam is going to be a true test of um, Volk's ability to fight a true grappler, because Islam clearly is, one of the best, if not the best, grapplers in MMA right now. He's Khabib's best friend. Everybody knows Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Hmm.
He
Hmm.
Islam finally got the belt by choking out Charles Oliveira, which was nuts, right? And we all
Wow.
kind of saw that
Yeah.
coming because Islam is just a carbon copy of Khabib with better striking.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, next year, man. Like you said, grappling can be boring, but I think this fight will be, one of the greatest fights, if not, the best fight ever. Hopefully, because Volk has a fighting style that is just explosive. When he fought Max Holloway twice, Max
Hmm.
Holloway is a pure boxer, and if you guys have followed Max Holloway, his fights are always exciting. But when he fought Max, he destroyed Max. And Max has Max is very lanky. He's very long. He's very skinny. He has good reach. Volk is just this short Australian koala looking dude. Look at him in that picture, dude. He's an Australian like marsupial, and he's got that. He's just small. But then when you see him,
I hear
when you
you.
see when you see him fight, he closes the distance. Like, he gets inside of your space within, like, a matter of milliseconds, and he's
like
there in your
like he'll
face.
take advantage of his height in a way and just go inside and maybe just get some strikes in or something, right?
Exactly. He'll just swim in and get inside of your pocket and just
Hmm.
throw blows, and then exit once you're going to return and counter, and then he can wrestle too. Islam is one of the best wrestlers we've ever seen, and he can strike as well. So seeing that clash of titans is gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be fun. So
It's gonna be
Sick.
dope.
yep,
Absolutely. Look, looking forward to it for sure.
yeah,
Let's
and
see.
then
And then next headline, the
so
talk. The
Highly
so yeah,
this is the
requested.
talk right here.
so
Jeez.
apparently the K family has some discrepancies or some grievances to air about Usman versus Covington, but I understand why, and I watched it as per requested. I watched it very intently, and I noticed that Colby was actually winning most of that fight. Let me just give you guys a little bit of a framework for both of them. So Covington is they both have wrestling pedigrees. They both wrestled in college. Um,
Hmm.
Covington is known for his stamina. He's known for his tenacity. He's known um, to just be a tough, high volume striker. He's just going to come
Yeah.
at you kind of like Nick and Nate Diaz, just throwing the jab at you, keeping you busy. He's that type of
Uh
guy.
huh.
Usman
Uh huh.
is also a wrestler. He's tough. He's very dense. He's a very strong black man. He was in Black Panther for a reason, you guys. This guy was in Black Panther too. He was in Wakanda Forever, if you guys
Oh.
didn't know that.
That's good
Okay.
Yeah,
news.
No.
No,
he
didn't know
Didn't
was.
that.
know.
Yeah, he's
Very cool.
Kamaru Usman is in Black Panther, and he was in there for a reason because he looks like a Nigerian monster. His name's the Nigerian Nightmare. So he's very dense. He's a tough dude. He was a champion for a reason. I think he could have beat Leon. I think he was beating Leon most of that fight, but he got hit with the left kick, and he got knocked out, and he lost, and that's how the fight game goes. But I digress. Covington versus Usman won. I think Kobe won that fight, you guys. If that's what you guys are referring to, yes, I think he won the first two rounds. He was landing more significant strikes. He was busier. The third round, there was a couple of exchanges where they both got rocked, and then he hit Usman with a left kick, and then poked him in the eye, and then the fight was kind of like stagnant for a while, And then the fourth round, Usman throws a nasty right cross while Covington has his mouth open. And if you watch the fight on YouTube, they slow it down, and he literally caught him at just the right time where Covington just kind of like ducked his head down, left his jaw open, and Kamaru just threw the perfect right cross, broke his jaw. And then
Oh God.
yeah, at the break,
Damn.
before the final round, you know how the UFC has the little camera and the microphone in the corner with the coaches and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Right.
The coach is like, we need you to break his will. We need you to break his will. Break his will. You know, move forward with that accent. And then Kobe was just like, bro, I broke my jaw. And coach was like, it is okay. Breathe. And Kobe's like,
Oh, wow.
nah, I broke
Some
my
Dark
jaw.
Knight Rises shit.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, but his jaw was literally broken. You can see it, and like in the highlight too, you can see how powerful and how perfectly the punch connected to his jaw while his mouth was open. So, what's amazing and what is very admirable about Kobe is, like I said, his tenacity. He's relentless. You know, despite
Mhm.
breaking your jaw, dude. If I broke my jaw in a fight, I would cry a little bit, and I would tear up a little bit, you know, try to
Hell
hold it
yeah.
in, try
That's
to
a hard
gap.
injury.
Oh, it's a tough injury, man. And I would try
Yeah.
to muster up that toxic masculinity and try to just, you know, be tough and put on that mask and be like, coach, it hurts. I don't want to fight anymore. I'm probably not going to fight anymore, coach.
You probably wouldn't fight. You
Yeah,
tap out from that point.
I'd probably tap out, dude. You know, in my current shape.
It's
From
it's
Kamaru Usman,
understanding. It's
bro.
understanding. But when you're in the UFC fighting for the welterweight championship belt, you know, it's like you gotta like, and if going into the final round, I think you just gotta buck up for the last 5 minutes, and you know.
And that's what he did, man. And like if you watch the final round, man, he was connecting. Kobe was still connecting. You know, he was still getting hit with that broken jaw. He was getting punched in the
Oh my
face with the
God.
broken jaw, connected
Dude,
in the
that's
fifth round.
crazy.
And then eventually, I think he clips him. Kamaru clips him. Kobe gets on the ground and he just ground and pounds him from the back on his jaw. So
Mm.
Kamaru won that fight, you know, decisively at the end. But yeah, for anybody that was requesting this discussion, I think Kobe was winning most of that fight up until the fifth round. So there you have it, guys.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, that's thanks for coming on, Kyle. Really appreciate your insight on MMA, and you
Yes,
know
sir.
we're definitely gonna have you keep coming on here. You know, give your analysis because it seems like you go pretty in depth with it, and we appreciate that. So you know, we'll stay on the lookout, and then the next time we'll have you back on, man. So thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Sal.
Thanks for the good vibes. Have a good day, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You
Absolutely.
too, brother.
See you, bro. All right. Now let's move on with the show. Done with MMA. Let's move forward with NFL. And for like every week, we have our top performers. So let's move on with that. Our quarterback top performer, Field of Burn. Who do you got, man?
That's right. QBs. Leading off, we got Josh Allen this week. Big time matchup against the Miami Dolphins, interdivision matchup at home. I know last week we were talking about this, how it was supposed to be, you know, snowing, and it ended up not starting that way, but that fourth quarter, you had a snow flurry to finish the game. Josh Allen ended up with 304 passing yards, 77 rushing yards, 4 touchdown passes, 2-point conversion, but also had a fumble loss. That kind of negates it. Either way, gives you a grand total of 35.86 points in our Cave League. Drafted high and played like it. Primetime game. And it was a divisional opponent. Like I said, he balled out. Top performer, Josh Allen, QB position.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, cheers on that.
Awesome.
To follow up, we're going to be going on with the running back top performer, and we have Jarek McKinnon.
Who you got?
We have Jarek McKinnon. So he ended up with 52 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown, 70 receiving yards for 1 receiving touchdown. He's got a 2-point conversion and 8 receptions. So he's just been on a hot hand. The last 4 weeks, he's had at least 1 touchdown in every game. And the last 2 games, he's been one of the top performers in fantasy in any format. He's just playing. They're just using him for his abilities, and he's just benefiting from what the defense is giving. As you know, with the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, he's known to be able to take advantage of the deep threats. And most defenses are going to they're going to do their best to take away the deep threats, and that leaves the vulnerability in the flats, short passes. And Jerick McKinnon, he's a versatile player at the running back position, and he's just been taking advantage of it. So he ended up with 34.2 fantasy points, and he's been killing it.
Absolutely. I got to say, with Jerick McKinnon and the Chiefs, they're using him. It reminds me of the year the Chiefs won the Super Bowl with Damian Williams. A lot of little dumps, but then Williams would just run, man. And McKinnon he's shifty like that. So once he gets the ball, like, he could juke you out. If he's got some blocks, he'll get through it.
Oh yeah.
And and I'll say, you know what? I'm a fan of his. I liked him when he was with the Vikings, and when he got that big contract, I was excited for him. The only thing that happened was his injury, his ACL tear, and it sucked because he had this new extension, and then he got the ACL. He got a second chance at San Francisco, which, it was okay. But now with the Chiefs, he's with under Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. He's gonna succeed. But it's great to see him excel like he was with the Vikings again. So I just got to say that about Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah, he's got that fire lit within him too. I'm sure he's aware that after that injury, any game could be his last game. So he's playing like it, and I'm really happy to see that he's doing well.
For sure, even though he's with the Chiefs. Everyone probably knows I'm a Broncos fan now, but nah. I like Jerick McKinnon, but I don't like the Chiefs.
Good for McKinnon.
Let's move on with our wide receiver top performer, and for this week we have Zay Jones of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He scored his career high fantasy points. So in PPR, he scored for 34.9 points, three touchdown receptions, guys. That's ridiculous. That's great. So 3 touchdown receptions, 6 total receptions for 109 yards. That totals for 34.9. I know some leagues, they'll do the bonus. I know I play in one league where we do over 100 yards, you get a little bonus. So, you could have gotten an extra few points with the 100 yards there. Crazy. And you know what's cool too? That the Jaguars eliminated Cowboys from playoff contention. So who them boys? They nobody now. I'll say that. So congrats, Zay Jones. You deserved it. I think, you know what? I'll say this too with the Jags. Something happened this year. Some little spark happened a couple weeks back with Trevor Lawrence, Zay, and their receiving core. I think they're starting to find their niche. They're starting to find their chemistry as a team. So I'm looking for. Keep an eye on them next year, guys. Because
let me ask you guys.
I've always been. Yeah. What's up?
Do you know? Is this Is this a career game for Zay Jones?
It is.
Okay.
I believe so.
Which is crazy because just a week ago, Evan Ingram had his career game, part of the same receiving core. So, like you said, there's some kind of spark there, and it's exciting to see that.
That's a good point you made right there, Sol. They're coming together, and I like it. Like I said, I'm a fan of Trevor Lawrence, aka Sunshine. And so he's always. I liked him at Clemson. I wanted Broncos to draft him, but they didn't. So to see him succeed, I'm happy for the guy too. So that's cool.
100%.
So the spark you're talking about with the Jaguars, hold on, before we move on, that spark you're talking about,
Tell me,
Doug Peterson. Him
Okay.
coaching this team with these weapons, like it feels like those early days of the Eagles when they were on offense and they had a bunch of weapons with a quarterback that could distribute it. He's really coming into his own as a play caller this season. We saw signs early on against teams like the Chargers where they went into SoFi and just dismantled them. But the chemistry seems to be there. The familiarization with the playbook and his unique play calling schemes that he has is really paying off. And you're saying look out for them next year? Look out for them this year. They might win the division.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's setting
They're on
up
a
for
roll.
a Week 18 showdown against the Titans for the division. Like, if they keep rolling, the Titans are struggling.
Okay.
They're only a game behind the Titans. I think Titans are 7-7,
Shut
and
up.
the Jaguars 8. So
6
Could
and
be
8.
this year.
Wow, I wasn't even aware of that. Wow.
yeah,
Okay, so
they're
they
streaking.
might even make a late run to the maybe a wild card spot, if that, maybe too. No, or
They
just
might be hosting a playoff game.
okay.
Right.
They have to win the division to make it. I don't think they have the record to make a wild card, right?
They're only a game back of the division.
Yeah. So they'll win the division. Let's say it. You think they'll win it?
I'm gonna go on record right now and say the Jaguars are gonna win the AFC South. They're gonna beat the Titans
I'm with
Week
you.
18.
Wow,
They're gonna keep
nice.
streaking, and they're gonna host either the Ravens or the Chargers.
That would be a great game.
Yeah,
Either
Okay,
either
okay.
opponent. Yeah.
Okay. I'm with you on that one, Zach. I'll take them over the Titans. Good to see they have the momentum. So if they stick with it, I think they got it.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
let's move forward, guys. Good talk on the Jags, but let's move forward. Top tight end. My bad.
Top tight end this week from your San Francisco 49ers, for all the Niners fans out there.
Yeah.
George Kittle.
Boo.
You could see 25.3 fantasy points, which is incredible considering he only had 4 catches in this game. Half of his catches went for touchdowns. He had a really big touchdown reception, I believe just out of halftime in this game, and busted the game wide open. Broke some tackles. Classic George Kittle run that PQ you were talking about a couple weeks back with him. How he used to just get the ball in open space and then just watch out because he's got the Iowa Hawkeye in him, running people over. So 93 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 catches. George Kittle, top tight end of Week 15 for the game.
Yeah, happy for that guy.
For sure.
I mean, we're obviously big fans of his, so it's nice to see him doing some work out there. Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
he's been quiet for the past few years, so I don't know if he said something, but like they say, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So
Well, he
I mean,
had
he's
the
been
injury
quiet.
last year, so
okay,
yeah.
Yeah,
So he
Debo
was
being
out
up,
for a while.
so he blew up. So
Mhm.
this game,
But yeah,
you have
going
something?
forward. Oh no, go ahead. Did you want to mention something about Kittle before we go to the defense?
No. Go for it, Sol.
Okay. All right. So to conclude the top performers, we're moving on to the defense top performer, which was the Colts. So, I mean, this was just like an unbelievable game, honestly. For their defense. So they had the blocked punt or field goal return for the touchdown, 2 interceptions, a fumble recovered, blocked punt, or what was it? Was it a punt or was it a field goal? I didn't watch the game.
I didn't watch
But
the game either.
Okay. But the really big stat was 7 sacks for the game. That's incredible. Interception return for a touchdown. And that earned them 18 fantasy points. So the defense just came alive. Obviously, we don't even have to watch the game based upon these stats. You can see that they're having a field day.
Right.
And honestly, it's kind of an unexpected team to hear as a top performing defense of the week, especially in fantasy terms. But
Right.
yeah, what do you guys have to say about that?
I'll say they would have
Yeah,
had 27 points if they still would have buckled down and kept the lead, but that didn't happen.
Right.
I mean, you see it right there.
The record,
They had,
right?
they were the top scoring defense in fantasy, and they had -9 points.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So the record that you're referring to, they have the largest blown lead in NFL history, like up 33-0 at half. God, this game was nutty, huh? Like, how I don't understand like how. What?
That's Matt Ryan's biggest lead. You know, he's the first one was the 35-3 in the Super Bowl, and now Matt Ryan again, winning by 33 points, and then they lost the lead. So Matt Ryan, both of those.
Poor guy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the common denominator in those occurrences. So it's very odd. It's really odd.
Crazy because like they were up 33-0. They come out of halftime and they get a 3-and-out on Minnesota. And like I think there was something that was said about like Patrick Peterson was talking to the offenses like, "Hey, we're just 5 touchdowns away." And he wasn't wrong. Like they just started scoring touchdowns.
Man,
there was a QB sneak that they ran on 4th and 1, which was very interesting that they could have sealed the game with. The refs might have blown it a little early, but it looked like Matt Ryan just folded and didn't even like try to get the extra yardage. He was hoping for a push, and but I mean, this Colts defense putting up 18 points, highest scoring defense in the week, and they lost. Like that's I can't remember the last time a defense was the highest scoring defense in a loss.
Right. And also that the other part of it that you mentioned where they're negative 9 points and still the top.
Yeah. Jeez. This is where we would need a sound clip with like, boom.
Yeah. like an old trombone.
Right.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, man. It's ridiculous. I think this is going to be remembered for quite a while. And it's going to be...
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be the inspiration for many memes and jokes going forward.
1,000%.
I mean, the memes came out already. I'll say that. The memes came out already. So, all right, let's move on. Let's move on. So now that we kind of discussed a little bit of the playoff picture with the AFC South, what's the NFL playoff picture looking like in its entirety? Let's talk AFC, or should we talk NFC first, guys?
Whatever you prefer, take the lead on that.
Let's talk AFC. Okay. So our AFC standings are looking like this. In first place, we have the Buffalo Bills. Second place, we have the Chiefs. Second place or third place, we have the Bengals. And then fourth place, we have the Titans. Now, those are the division leaders, okay? Not based off record. So those are your leaders right there. For wild card, not sure who would be qualifying though, but those are your division leaders right now.
For the wild card, we got hold on real quick. Wild card 5 seed currently Baltimore Ravens. 6 seed currently LA Chargers, and 7 seed Miami Dolphins as of now.
Miami. Oh, the Dolphins. Oh, wow. Okay. But we mentioned, hey, the Titans aren't. They're a game ahead of the Jags. The Jags are going to come back, so we're going to say Jacksonville takes the AFC South, which would put them in fourth place in overall. Do you guys think it's going to end up like this with the Ravens, Chargers, and Dolphins in the wild card?
It's going to be hard to tell. It also depends on, I mean, what's the status with Lamar Jackson? Is he done for the season, or is he coming back?
He is not. He's not done for the season. However, he's up in the air for this week. The earlier he gets back, the better they're going to look for their prospects. I think if he comes back this week, he might be able to ride that to a 5 seed, and then go to the AFC South opponent.
Right.
In terms of the 6 and 7, I think it might finish out, pretty close to this. The Jets were a fun story there for a little bit. Had a tough loss to the Dolphins this week. Now they get to play the Jaguars on Thursday, which is going to be, for once, or for the first time in a long time, we get a very competitive and important Thursday night game with huge playoff implications. So that's going to be great. The Raiders are still in the hunt at 6 and 8. So they're going, I think, to Pittsburgh this week, which is going to be to them. And then rounding up the last two spots are the Browns and the Steelers. Honestly, Browns might be a team to look out for. I think their schedule is pretty light going forward to finish the season. If some shenanigans start at the top with like the Dolphins, for instance, Dolphins, Patriots, Jets, I think all have to play each other still. Browns might be able to sneak in this thing. And wouldn't that be pretty wild if Deshaun Watson led the Browns to the playoffs?
It would be. I mean, he's going to have to start playing like Deshaun Watson, but yeah, I mean, anything's possible at this point. But also coming up on that Thursday night game you mentioned with the Jaguars and the Jets, you know, the Jets quarterback situation is just too wishy-washy, and it's Mike White, correct, who was originally named the starter a couple weeks ago. Now correct. He sat out the last game with a rib injury, and they're back to Wilson. Is that correct? So,
yes.
I really don't see them beating the Jaguars. So, yeah.
Yeah, the Jaguars are rolling, man. So just to speak on what we were talking about the Jaguars earlier, they got the Jets this week on Thursday. Then they go to Houston, and then they finish out against Tennessee.
Oh.
So, you know,
Tennessee's really their biggest threat right there.
Exactly. Tennessee has Houston this week, and then they got the Cowboys next Thursday, and then they play the Jaguars. So, you know, it's really looking like it's going to shape up to be, you know, 2 8-8 teams going into the last week of the season. That might be the Sunday night game because NFL likes to put those like winning you're in games, losing you're out for that last Sunday night football game last week of the season. Yeah, that AFC South, it turns out to be pretty juicy here with, you know, a little 3-game losing streak from the Titans and the winning streak from the Jags. And here we are, you know, 1 game back with 3 to play, and let's play football.
Right. Let's see what happens. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's move to the NFC, gentlemen. So in first place, we have the Eagles leading the conference. Wow, 13-1. That's crazy. The Vikings in second place at 11-3. 49ers in third place at 10-4. Which, wow, they're killing it. Even with all those injuries, they're crushing it.
Yeah.
The Buccaneers. The Buccaneers, you know, they're leading the division, but at 6-8, so they're in fourth place technically. But just what's with the South divisions, AFC and NFC? Because look at the Panthers are just 1 game behind as well. So,
well, all 3 of them.
We'll see what happens.
The Panthers, New Orleans, and Atlanta, they're all tied.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. That's crazy.
The worst divisions in football are going to be the most exciting to watch. Like,
Exactly. I was wrong earlier because, okay, I'll admit, I read a headline that Jags were getting Cowboys out of playoff contention. That's why I said what I said. My apologies. I was wrong. Cowboys actually have a clinched playoff spot already. They're in first place. Yeah, they're in 5th place at 10-4, actually. So I'll just take back what I said earlier. All right, it's clinched. In 6th place, we have the Giants at 8-5, and then surprisingly, last place for the wild card, 7th, the Washington Commanders. Who would have thought? Wow. But you know, they're winning games. I guess they'll make it, but I don't think they'll make a deep run in playoffs. But regardless, that's what the playoff picture's looking like in the NFC. What do you guys think? What are some last end of the season changes we'll see, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't really see anybody beating out the Eagles or the Niners at all. I mean, they're just too much talent. Jalen Hurts is not playing this week, but he's supposed to either be coming back the next game, if not the one after. And they have Gardner Minshew as a replacement. And I was looking at his stats from last season, and the games that he's played, he's not done bad. Pretty solid stats for the games that he has played in. So with the help of Miles Sanders, A.J. Brown, Goddard possibly coming back to full health, you know, if they pull together, they may be just, you know, cruising in for the rest of the season.
For sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
Chasing the
What do
Commanders.
you think, Bert?
Yeah, chasing the Commanders. We got Detroit and Seattle both at 7-7. I believe Washington has some tough games coming up. This week they're in San Francisco, and then next week they host the Browns, which we were talking about with the AFC. Could be a team to watch out for.
You're right.
And then they host Dallas, so Washington might not win another game this year.
Yeah.
So
no,
to me, I would love to see Detroit in there. That would be.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh yeah.
They're on a 3-game win streak right now, so
yes.
we said with the Jags, there's a
teams.
spark happening.
Yeah.
For sure. Not to be the downer though. Big win last night from Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. They're only 6-8, and they're also going to be set up with, it looks like, a Week 18 showdown with Detroit. If the Green Bay Packers can beat Minnesota in 2 weeks, I think they got Miami this week and then Minnesota next week. It's going to be pretty much Detroit versus Green Bay for who gets that last seed, and I'm pretty sure I know which way a lot of the country would want that to go. Green Bay and Aaron getting in there and just causing a havoc in the playoffs because they just got healthy too. They're pretty healthy and getting their weapons back. But the NFC is pretty wide open. I think that adding this set for both conferences has been turning out to be pretty rewarding for the league. We have a lot more teams that are in the hunt now with that 7 spot. That it's going to make a lot of these games exciting at this stage in the season. Whereas in years past, like when we were growing up, there'd be maybe 2 or 3 games a week that would from week 16 on that would be important. Now we're going to have like 5 or 6. So this is awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch.
And NFL they've improved their scheduling. I'll say that because there's been exciting games, especially towards the end of the season, that just makes things a little extra juicier.
Very juicy.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, let's move on. Great talk with the playoff picture. Now let's talk about our very own Cave League, the standings and the updates. I know I'm out. I'll say that. So I'm just gonna shut up in this. Because I had a terrible season in fantasy. So what's the scoop, guys?
So real quick before we jump to the Cave League, hold on. Yeah, before we jump to the Cave League, speaking of the playoffs, before we finish this, sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
One thing we're looking to do with the Cave League is we're looking to add more ways to get people in on the fun. We're currently starting to formulate a plan to get a NFL playoff pick'em contest up and rolling to all our Cave members, along with further down the road, maybe doing some Super Bowl squares. So just know we're working on something, and we're hoping to bring it out as soon as we can, and be on the lookout next couple of weeks for more excitement and for more advertisements in terms of our pick'em contest that we're looking to roll out and some Super Bowl squares.
Definitely looking forward to that.
Absolutely. So if anybody listening to this that hasn't joined our Discord, make sure to join the Discord so that way you can join these contests. Like we said, get maybe some Super Bowl squares, some playoff pick'em contests, things like that. So if you haven't joined the Cord yet, join our Discord, and you could be a part of this as well.
Yeah, trust me, you'll have fun.
All right, let's get to that Cave Fantasy League PQ.
Yep, going back to the standings in the Cave League. So, not much has changed. I'm still in the first position with 10-4. Right behind me is CD's Nuts with 8-6, and so now we're in the playoffs now. So the next bracket is actually myself, Soul Controller, versus CD's Nuts, and then on the other side we've got Cup My Balls versus Burn, Bang Bang Niner Gang, and it's been for me. It's been a fun season. Everybody knew that they had a chance to make the playoffs, and now it's come down to the end. So it's now it's just about playing the best matchups you can get and looking out for any of those injuries, trying to pick up the best players. Pretty much what you would do all season, but matchups are going to definitely make more of a impact now that we're in the later weeks.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
For
Absolutely.
sure,
for
To further go into these matchups, it looks like PQ, you are projected to win by less points, which I think is going to be the closest projections that you've had in a while. But it's the playoffs, right? So this is what's supposed to happen.
Right.
And then myself versus Cut My Balls looks like it's going to be. I'm favored by a little over 4 points, so it's going to be another close round of the playoffs here for both of us. But hopefully it all works out like it's supposed to, and we'll be back here next week talking about a championship matchup between us two. So
Definitely. Hopefully.
Good luck to you, sir.
Good luck to you as well. Yeah, and maybe, who knows, maybe we'll sweeten the odds a bit.
Ooh, spicy. We could definitely think about
put some hot sauce on that, baby.
Yeah, Louisiana, baby.
So, as we have done in the past, we talked about some, players who we would rather sit or start. We did a couple polls, and we're going to jump right into that. Starting out with the quarterbacks. So
no, I think we have running backs first.
Oh, okay. My apologies.
Yeah.
So we had Jerick McKinnon or Nick Chubb. So as we mentioned earlier in the show, Jerick McKinnon, last few games, he's just been on fire. And I have him in 2 leagues. He's a no-brainer start for me. I will definitely be starting him and riding that hot hand. And on the other end, Nick Chubb, he hasn't necessarily been playing to the level that we've seen him play before. It looks like Kareem Hunt is eating up some of those snaps, some of those plays that would potentially get Chubb into the end zone. So at this point in the season, I would definitely not play him, especially if it's between him and Jerick McKinnon, as I have the choice to make in a couple leagues.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, who would have thought about that? Beginning of the season, you're going to start who over Nick?
What? Yeah. Right.
And
yeah,
now,
Jerick
here we are
McKinnon was a free agent ad.
Exactly, and he's coming off being the top running back scorer in our league for the past 2 weeks in a row. So,
exactly.
Might be tough for people out there to sit Chubb, but I think you're onto something there with Jerick McKinnon.
I'll say though, if you don't have any other options, then you got to play Chubb. Though that's the thing. He's a starter no matter what. Mm-hmm. If you don't have any other options and he's your running back too, keep him plugged in.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. For the QBs, man, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to go off this week. They're playing against the Cardinals. They are on the outside looking in for the playoffs, so they got to win. And Aaron is still Aaron Rodgers. Might not be as mobile and as quick as he used to be, but man, he's got that pedigree. It's kind of like with Brady. Like, you can't count him out until he's out. So I'm expecting Aaron to go off this week and have his top game of the fantasy season this week against the Cardinals. On the flip side, if you have Justin Fields, I do not like the matchup this week. They're playing Buffalo. Buffalo's still trying to hold on to that 1 seed because that's going to be very important. No one wants to go to Buffalo in December. Fields coming off a tough loss against another stout defense with the Eagles
for sure
at home. So, I'm definitely, if I have Justin, I'm looking elsewhere.
Yeah, and that's saying a lot too. For sure.
He's been carrying some teams this week or this league.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's move on to the last wide receivers.
Yes, Chris Godwin is someone I'm setting and forgetting. Tom Brady hasn't been Tom Brady this year. But just like Aaron, I think that's the theme that I have between these two is that they're on the outside looking in, or they're barely holding on to a playoff spot with Tampa. They got, like you said, all three teams in their division behind them at their heels. I'm expecting Tom to have his top output of the season as well, which isn't saying a lot. I don't think he's had a 20-point game this year, uncharacteristically. So I think he is feeding Godwin. I misspoke earlier. Aaron's playing Miami. Tom is playing in Arizona. So I'm looking for Brady to take advantage of Arizona this week. And I'm looking for Aaron Rodgers to last week with Miami. So, and the Broncos. Yeah, the Broncos won last week. So
that's why Cardinals right now. Yeah, exactly. If the Broncos did it with Brett Rippon, Tom Brady should come in and get a fried bird in there of a Cardinal.
Fried bird, exactly. And maybe pretty shocking here, but my sit this week is AJ Brown. This has the caveat. This is the caveat for this one. It was announced earlier that Nick Sirianni is looking to possibly start Jalen Hurts if he can go. I don't think that's a great idea because they have a little bit of a cushion on that one seed in the NFC. So if Jalen Hurts is out, I'm sitting AJ Brown. I think this actually might be a loss for the Eagles. They are playing the Cowboys. So if you get Gardner Minshew in there with the defense, I think they're going to apply pressure all game and force Gardner to do things he is uncomfortable doing. Might lead to some prayer throws from him, some Hail Marys, if you will, AJ Brown's way that will get picked off by the Dallas Cowboys defense. So if Jalen Hurts is out, I'm for sure sitting AJ Brown. I'm leaning towards sitting him either way because this Cowboys defense, to me, is no joke.
Yeah, especially because they'll have Diggs on him more than likely, right? Covering him the whole game.
They're going to give him all the attention. They're going to let Smith beat him.
Yeah. So. I think the smart thing the Eagles can do is just sit Hurts, let him rest for the playoffs. They like you said, they have a comfortable cushion for first place. I mean, if they lose this game, they're still in first place. So I could see why you would sit AJ Brown, and it makes complete sense. Complete sense.
100%.
He's carried teams all season too, as well. With Fields, and this is going to be tough. But I mean, it's the playoffs, right? And you worry about next week. You focus on this week. I think two guys that have been stalwarts for fantasy teams, Justin Fields and AJ Brown. I think you might have to sit them this week.
Yeah, definitely.
Excuse me. Sorry. All right. Yeah. So let's move on here. Done with our start and sits of the week. What's up, Sol?
No. Sorry. Go ahead. But I was just gonna say we're moving on to the poll recaps from that we did earlier this week. Yep.
Right. Exactly. So our poll week. Tell us about it, Sol.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just like we've been doing every week. Two players comparing two players in interesting positions. So Andy Dalton with the Saints and then Zach Wilson with the Jets. So, Andy Dalton, he's done some great things with Olave, and Zach Wilson has done great things also with Garrett Wilson and also a little bit with different tight ends. But the poll speaks for itself. We let people vote on it, and so 28% said they would go for Dalton, but the majority, it was almost a unanimous decision that Zach Wilson would be the starter. And now we had an interesting one between Metcalf and Lockett. It's almost like they're both, if they were on different teams, they could easily both be the wide receiver one, but they're on the same team. Yeah. So they split a lot of the attention. Metcalf is obviously way bigger than Lockett, and Lockett he kind of stays a lot more in the slot, and they have different roles as receivers, but they're both very, very talented. And if you look back to the games, through the season, this season, their stats have been very similar. There's times I have both of them on one team, so there's times when I've started both of them, before Garrett Wilson started getting hot. But it was pretty close in this poll, but the majority went with Lockett with 57% and Metcalf with 43%.
Yeah, and it seems like everyone that voted on that was correct because both of those ended up being the right choices. Lockett outscored Metcalf, and Zach Wilson, the MILF Hunter, outscored. There we go, right?
Yeah.
The cave's pretty well versed with these polls, man. Good job this week.
Yeah. One thing to mention, I'm sure the majority knows now, but Lockett, I guess he fractured his hand or his finger in the last game, so he's looking at missing probably at least 1 to 2 games. I don't know, how serious that is, but if he, the games that he does sit, it's definitely going to benefit Metcalf. So it could,
for sure, and it'll affect the Seahawks too because they are kind of in contention for the final wild card spot. They're in contention, but I mean, if he misses 1 or 2 games, that just means I think they have other players that could step up, just not as great as Lockett, obviously, because Lockett is. I mean,
he's a veteran.
He's
now.
locked in. He's locked. You lock it. You lock it. And so exactly. So yeah, I can see people stepping up, but it won't be there. And who knows? Maybe he'll tough it up. They'll do something. Put a little. What do you call it? I'm not a cast, but a splint on it, and let's go. Tough it out, man.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen players do it many times before. So,
yeah,
like you said, they need it in the playoff hunt. They're right there on the Commanders' heels. So,
Lockett's a tough guy too. Sure. I have a feeling if he doesn't play, it's because it was a team decision, not because of him. I think he'll tough it out,
especially with that type of injury. Yeah,
exactly. To him, he's probably like, it's just a finger, guys. I could do one-handed catches with my other hand or something like that.
He's got 9 other of them,
Exactly. Yeah.
9 of them.
Awesome. Any more poll recaps?
Nah, that was the last one for this week. But
that was it.
To just prepare people for what's coming, we will be doing one this coming week, more than likely with depending on the situation with the Eagles quarterback, probably involve Gardner Minshew in it and another quarterback, and then we'll brainstorm and get a couple other ones going as well. So something to look out for and to participate in.
For sure. So again, everyone, these polls they're done on our Cave Instagram. So check it out over the weekend. I don't know, you don't put it Saturday, you put it up Sunday morning.
I try to go as early as possible, but as possible. The timing's been different depending on the week.
It's all good. So guys, just keep a lookout. If you follow us on Instagram, we put up this poll before the main slate on the main slate. So just check it out. Cast a little vote just for fun. And I mean, as you see, we discuss it here and weekly on Cave Sports. So follow us if you haven't. That way you can be a part of it as well.
Just to provide an
anything
update
else, gentlemen?
Too, with that,
What's up, Vern?
Look out! This we have 11 games on Saturday because Christmas is Sunday. So maybe we can get that poll out a little earlier for this.
Okay,
week.
for sure.
We got
there you go.
Game Thursday, 11 on Saturday, and then 3 Sunday, and then 1 Monday. So it's gonna be a busy.
There you go.
Yeah,
it is. So again, everybody that's listening in, keep an eye on it since the games are Saturday, so it could be coming out Friday evening or Saturday morning. So just stay on the lookout for it. We love your feedback on it and your votes. Yes, sir. All right. Anything else, gentlemen?
Yeah, I think we have a segment that we've been wanting to get rolling here on the back end and having.
Okay.
found opportune time. But this week, I think we're going to introduce was it Slava Medvedenko from the Discord? He's got a Thursday night
Yep.
pick for this week.
Yeah, so Slava's are good.
A Thursday night football pick. We got the Jets versus the Jaguars playing at MetLife in New York this Thursday night. Both teams, AFC, looking for a AFC wildcard playoff berth. Both are on the outside looking in, but my pick is going to be Jaguars money line. They are the hot team versus the Jets. Jets have lost their last 3. Jaguars are coming off electric wins against the Cowboys and some other good teams. So I'm going with the hot hand, Jags money line. I think Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson are going to get it done because Jets are just a mess right now. So hope y'all ride with me. Let's make some money this Thursday. Peace.
There you go.
Excellent.
There you go, everybody.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Thank you, Slava.
That's right.
Thank you, Slava, for coming on and giving
We
us
are
that
a
little
pro
recap.
Jacksonville Jaguars sports show here this week. I don't know if you're going to get this much
We
love
are.
for Jacksonville anywhere else,
I'm
but
I'm going to order my flag on Amazon.
Yeah, let's get that ugly ass
Yeah.
teal in here, right?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So,
Jaguars, they're going to be rolling this end of the season.
pardon. So, wasn't aware of the video, but what I wanted to say is Slava's our good friend of ours. What he'll be doing sports picks. So, any of you that do some betting online, we'll help you out to figure out what picks to make. So, again, just another reason why. Stay on the lookout. Follow us on Instagram. Join the Cord. Join the community. All right. So one more thing we have to recap for football here, and I'll talk about it since I am a Broncos fan. So ex-running back Ronnie Hillman, I'm not sure exactly the details. He's just very sick. He's in critical condition, unfortunately. Ex-teammates have spoken about it. So I'm an ex-Broncos. I mean, not an ex. I'm a Broncos fan. I actually saw Ronnie Hillman play in high school since he's an Orange County native. I believe La Habra High Schools. I saw him play a CIF playoff game one year, and this guy I knew right away watching that game, this guy's going to go into college, make it to the pros. He played for Snoop Dogg's football team, youth team as well. So this guy is, I just want to, send my positive thoughts and to him, send my energy to him. Hopefully everything turns out to be okay, because I've seen this guy play again since high school. Saw him play a little bit when he was at San Diego State, and then obviously saw him play as a Bronco on my team. So to see an Orange County guy play for the Denver Broncos, I thought was amazing. So I get liver cancer, I believe it is. So it sucks. Everyone, send your energy out to this guy. He's a young guy just like all of us here. So it's terrible news.
Sorry to hear that.
But
Sorry.
So just found out about it before the show and thought I'd, talk about it a bit because it hits home a bit.
Definitely.
For sure, man.
For sure. Yeah. So
Well,
that's it for go. What's up, Bern?
Well, I was just gonna say that's a bad way to end our football segment, but prayers up to Ronnie and his family. And hospice care is no joke. I'm sure we all have someone we know that's been through this, and just prayers up to Ronnie. But PQ, man, I know this is normally where you sign off because we finish up with football. So
right. Thank you so much.
See you, guys next week, sir.
Sounds good. Looking
Easy,
forward
dude.
to it. Enjoy.
See you, Soul, aka QP. All right. All right. So let's go, Bern. Let's talk about our favorite topic. Wrestling. We'll talk some NXT. Winter
Is that your Vince?
coming. That's my Vince.
Man, if I close my eyes, I could picture Vince's just right in this chat right now on the show.
You're
Man.
fine.
So yeah, we
What do you
have
got for
not had the
NXT?
chance to talk. We've not had a chance to talk wrestling in a while, dude.
Yeah.
You know, we've been busy with doing the football stuff, and because it's heating up, and honestly, there's a lot to talk about with football. But before we let another week go by, I just wanted to recap a couple big events that happened with professional wrestling with the two main companies, WWE and AEW. NXT Deadline happened a couple Saturdays ago, and they introduced like the main thing I want to talk about is they introduced this new match concept called the Iron Survivor Challenge. Didn't know how it was going to go. You know, it was a 5-way match. They utilized some elimination chamber style timing with it. You get 2 at a time, and then every 5 minutes another entrant came in, both for the men and the women's side in both of their matches respectively. I think the concept worked. I mean, we've been watching. Pro wrestling's been around for a long time. We've been watching wrestling for most of our lives. So it's very unique when we get a new match concept to be introduced. And I think they have a hit on their hands. It seemed to be pretty well received. Grayson Waller won for the men's match at NXT. Gets number 1 contendership shot against Braun Breaker down the road. And for the women, Roxanne Perez won hers. And she ended up cashing that shot in. And dethroned Mandy Rose. Come to find out, the next day Mandy Rose got released.
For
private.
You think they probably just wrote her off then?
Well, see, that's what I was going to talk to you about. She got released for reportedly not wanting to get rid of her quote unquote mature content on her fan page that she hosts.
Okay.
Kind of like OnlyFans. Yeah, kind of like OnlyFans, but it's not OnlyFans. And as of today, from what I read, since she got released last week, she's made over $500,000. That's a lot of money. So I can understand her not wanting to give that up. It's kind of a bummer given all the time and effort they put back into her to revitalize her career. But man, I think the Iron Survivor Challenge worked, for NXT Deadline. And that's going to be a staple of that brand going forward. And it's a unique way to get a bunch of wrestlers on a match at the same time for a number 1 contendership spot for the titles. And then I'm sure you saw also on that show, New Day ended up winning the tag titles. They beat Pretty Deadly, making them a Triple Crown Tag Team Champion. And Kofi Kingston actually became a 15-time tag team champion with WWE, which is just absolutely incredible for his career, dude. Yeah. And it's funny because someone was bringing up that he passed Booker T, and Booker T was on commentary for that match, and he was hating on him the whole time because he knew that New Day had a legit shot to break Kofi to break his record. But NXT Deadline ended up being a solid event.
Knowing Booker T though, like he was going with it. I'm sure he was happy for the guy, but he's just like he was just playing the role like, nah, screw this, all the trash talking. He was just going with it. But I'm sure, like as a wrestler himself, like he's like, nah, I'm happy for the guy, 15-time champ. And then watch, we were talking about the women's. Was it Mandy Rose, the one that got released?
Yeah, Mandy Rose. She lost the title, got released next day.
She'll be all elite pretty soon.
I'm sure a lot of people think she is elite already in different aspects. But yeah, I would not, I would not doubt that. I think having someone like Toni Storm who has a similar page, and I think Lana does as well. CJ Perry, and they're both. I don't think CJ Perry signed with AEW, but Miro is. So I think they're a little bit more receptive to it. But on the flip side though, like, WWE is a publicly traded company that is pushing out PG content. They got shareholders, they got a board, and they have
that makes sense,
their own image to look out for. So when something like that gets jeopardized, they have to look out for their own money. So
I get you absolutely.
It's
but
kind of a shame.
I could totally see her coming to AEW. I mean, along with like Soraya, and a lot of previous WWE/NXT women's wrestlers that made the transfer. I can see that happening again.
Oh, for sure.
So, anything else with NXT Deadline?
No, just all around solid event. I don't think a lot of people had, very high expectations for it. I think that's been the theme with this new, the way that NXT has shifted from the old black and gold to what they are now. They're really embracing the development aspect of that brand. But the next one that they have, they're going to be on the road. So they'll be in a bigger space with a live crowd, not the same Florida crowd that they get for their shows all the time at the Capitol Wrestling Center. And I believe it's Vengeance Day. It's in February. So, yeah, looking forward to NXT and what they have just to see the stars of the future for the WWE. So another solid event, and
for sure.
We can talk about AEW now.
Let's go. So last week we had AEW Winters, as we've mentioned on previous segments of Cave Sports. They have these little topics or little. What would you call it? Not topics, but in their dynamites they have themes. There you go, different themes. And this one was Winter's Coming, and a lot happened. I didn't watch everything, and what I saw was very minimal, to be honest. But I know we had the big match with Ricky Starks and MJF. Let's dive into that one. Tell us a little more about it, Bern.
So, man, they had some really fire promos going into their match, which is to be expected. When you get talents like Ricky Starks and MJF, this young, hungry talent that haven't had that chance in the limelight their careers, they got a chance to shine, and I think they both knocked it out of the park. Their match at Winter Was Coming was solid. However, I think the promos might have been better than the match itself. Did like to see MJF win with shenanigans. Keeping that heel aspect, like he's the ultimate heel in this day and age, and I'm glad he's not fully relinquishing it yet. I did like the teases of him possibly turning face a few weeks ago, until he had the assistance of Regal against Moxley, and then solidified himself as being that heel. But yeah. Solid main event to end a solid show, dude. Also on that card, we had the Elite versus the Death Triangle, match number 4. And I think when they first started these matches, you and I were talking about it and how how we could see it going. Here we are. They're 3-1.
3-1.
Death Triangle picked up another win, and kind of felt like we were going to see something like this. When the Elite went down 0-2, we were like, okay, is it going to be? They're going to get 3 and then win 4, 3-1, and then Elite's going to come back. But
right.
Some of these stipulations that we're going to definitely get that Game 7, if you will, ladder match in LA in Inglewood.
Yes. I'm totally looking forward to that. So that's one thing I did pay attention on last week when I was watching Winter's Dynamite, was that after they won the match, Kenny Omega made the small promo of like, you've been winning with the hammers, no problem. How about we make the next one a no DQ? And I thought that got me pumped up, man. Because first of all, we've said it before, these two tag teams, the trios, whether in the Elite and Dark Triangle, they have such great chemistry. Those two teams working together. So now, if they have great chemistry without all these extra accessories like the ladders, tables, and things. I think it's just going to make things that much better. Honestly, I just hope Ray Fenix doesn't injure his arm again. But other than that, these guys are knock on wood, because I love the guy. I've seen him live, and he's a good guy, very genuine. But anyways, I just think it's going to be knuckin' futz, man. That's how I'm gonna say it. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I want to see some ladders. I want to see tables broken. I want to see some blood. No lie. And I want to see that hammer. Let's keep using that hammer. I'm looking forward to it. But I think at the end of the day, Elite is going to come out victorious again. They're going to make the comeback and win the series 4-3 in LA, like you said.
Yeah, we get the no DQ match this week on Dynamite. So that's, like you said, it's going to be knucking foots. So, let's close these last 3 matches out, the right way, continue to blow our minds for sure. Another thing that happened on, Winter is Coming, Action Andretti got an upset over Jericho. This was an unannounced match, I believe, going in. They just said Jericho's going to be in action. They didn't have an opponent at the time when they announced it. And then this was like modern day 1-2-3 Kid over Scott Hall. And it was incredible to watch. Doesn't really happen in this day and age where you get an upset like this. That was fantastic. So Action Andretti, a.k.a. modern day 1-2-3 Kid with the dub over Jericho. And wasn't
it his debut
behind the
too?
scenes. Yeah, he ended up, little behind the scenes stuff. He ended up getting signed after the event was over. He's all elite now, and he's gonna have this little mini rocket strapped to his back, I think, because of this win. So that was a shocking result, for sure.
But kudos to Jericho for putting him over. So
Consummate professional. Cool. He did this with Fandango back in the day with WWE too. He didn't have to. So he's always about pushing forward the young talent, which speaks, to Y2J's and his care and passion for the business. That's why he's one of the GOATs.
One thing I'll say, since we're still talking about wrestling, I don't think we touched on it last week, but hey, all of our K followers, we got to go see J2 Mattioli, the guy we interviewed in our podcast. We got to go see him live in action. We had the Cave crew go and check him out. It was a great indie promotion, seeing these wrestlers. It was dope. And so we will have this. We have footage. We're working on editing it. We're gonna release it. Stay on the lookout for it. But it was really cool. I'll say that. So, what'd you think of it, Bern?
Yeah, so that was my first time going to like an indie show, if you will, and this was like bare bones wrestling. You got a ring, a bunch of folding chairs outside.
Yeah.
And the brisk cold of San Bernardino on a Saturday night. This was the same night as NXT Deadline as well, so it took us a little while to catch up on NXT Deadline for us to talk about it, if you were wondering.
Yeah.
But, shout out to everybody there with EWF. Man, that was a fun night. Took my daughter. She had a blast. She had a luchador mask on. She had the pink one and was just booing the heels. I think Santa came out first, and it was one of the heels was dressed up as Santa Claus, and man, my daughter was
yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. So yeah, check out the footage. And fun fact too, our very own J2 Mattioli, he did a promotion once with Chris Jericho. I don't know, maybe it's on YouTube somewhere. We'll look on it, but he did mention that to us. We will find that. So
we will find
yeah, just talking a little bit about our little
J2
community. Absolutely. So no, it was cool. So again, everyone keep a lookout on for that footage that will be releasing soon.
Before we move on to the World Cup, though, wrestling is like, it's been hot, right? It's about to get into the busiest season that they have. They're taking a little bit of a break. I know for Raw next week for WWE, they're doing like a best of show, but they're kicking things off with the last SmackDown of the year. They got a big tag match, Cena and KO versus Roman and Sammy. And that's going to lead right into Rumble season. Right into Rumble season, dude. We got Rumble and then WrestleMania. Like, I think WrestleMania is under 100 days away now. So I think you and I are going to for sure be talking a lot of wrestling here in the next coming weeks.
I know it's not going to happen, but I want to see Bloodline lose this match. I mean, there's no titles on the line, so make them lose for once, Paul.
Hey, they might. You never know. I mean, you got to plant those seeds somehow to get that dissension. You know what I'm saying? So I could definitely see Sammy taking a pin.
So yeah, it's not a title match. So I mean, if it was a title match, I could see Bloodline winning. But because it's not, like, all right, come on, let's put the other guys over just a bit. Come on, why not? Why not?
They got to start descending sometime. So
eventually. All right, let's do our World Cup date.
World Cup date.
As World Cup date, as everybody knows, your new FIFA World Champions is Argentina. King Leo got his first World Cup trophy. Well deserved. I mean, he scored a ton of goals this World Cup. Probably the most in all the World Cups combined previously too.
Probably.
So kudos. It was. I mean, our bracket got messed up because I called Netherlands and all this stuff. France, though, you could not have asked for a better World Cup final. I mean, what? Argentina went up 2-0 with 10 minutes remaining in regulation time. France tied it up, and that's so rare that 2 goals are scored within like a 2-minute range, because those that watch soccer, football, however you want to call it, we know like how, matches will end 0-0. So to see 2 goals happen back to back from one team and from the same player, holy moly, this guy was not letting up. I'll say that. And then so tied 2-2, they go into extra time. Argentina goes up 3-2. It's like, okay, game's over now. Absolutely not. Mbappe comes back and scores another goal. I believe it was a penalty, but it's just, that's how it is. He scored the goal, tied 3-3. They go to penalties, and you could not have asked for a better game than that. Because penalties happen. Yeah, it's just that's what decides the game. But to see the match, the regulation match, the first 90 minutes plus the extra time, these guys. Both teams laid it out on the field. They put their heart out. So you can't ask, as fans, you can't ask for more. As players, I wish France won. I'll say that. But awesome game. And just to touch a little bit, unfortunately, Morocco, they didn't make it to the finals. Neither did they win 3rd place against Croatia. So Croatia got 3rd place. Obviously, France got 2nd, and Argentina were your winners. So, Vern, after I said all that, give me your thoughts, because I know you were very intrigued this year with the World Cup. You were very active in our boards talking about it. So give us your 2 cents, man.
I don't think that I am wrong in saying that this was the greatest soccer match that I've ever watched. I don't think I'm wrong, because that's obviously my opinion. But when I would say that to people that are big-time soccer fans, obviously I'm not a big-time soccer fan, but love me some World Cup. They said it's the greatest final of all time. Like you said, 2-0, 2-2, 3-2, 3-3, penalty kicks. Just unreal final. I don't think we could have asked for a better final for this World Cup. We've been talking about this for weeks now. Man, this was fun to watch. The passion both teams have, the never say die attitude of France and Mbappe, like just literally putting a country on his back. And man, it's just so impressive. I can't think of what MJ with the flu game, like these performances where these athletes just say, no, I got this, and just thrive and have these world-class moments and performances on the biggest stages is just incredible to me. That's why sports are awesome. And that's why we talk about them every week, dude. And on the flip side, though, you got King Lionel, dude. Messi getting the all-elusive World Cup in his reportedly final World Cup before he makes his way to Miami for the MLS to retire, which is obviously where everyone goes to retire. They go to Florida.
Yeah.
Man, and just the images that we have on our slides too, he's literally walking out of the World Cup on his teammates' shoulders, dude. Like, what a legend.
This was for
and that's
him.
because of the images we see from Argentina. You can look them up online and see how much it meant to that country. Like, it was special, and I hope this brings even more eyeballs. I know it's a world sport. We don't really talk about it much here in America, but you know, this truly was an incredible game, an incredible World Cup, and an incredible World Cup tournament. I don't know how this can be topped. Like, from the group stage to the knockouts, that quarterfinals that we said, we talked about last week, like, just incredible.
Mhm.
And I'm running out of superlatives, dude. Like,
Yeah. Like how you said,
I'm a soccer fan, bro.
For sure. Now, you mentioned how big of a deal it was for like the country itself. I got to expand it. Coming from a Latino, even though I wanted France to win, as a Latino myself, the Latino community, we all came together. Didn't matter which country they were from, but everybody was rooting for Argentina. And it was cool to see that, because there's sometimes little rivalries between these Latin American countries that, like, they just talk smack on each other. But for one day, we were all able to be on the same page, and just, it was awesome. And then hearing my I'm Guatemalan, and hearing my family say we won is like, yo, we didn't win anything, but okay, I guess we did.
No, hey, we all won, dude. We all won with that final. We all won with that.
Yeah,
that was incredible. That was so sick.
Absolutely,
man.
Absolutely. So,
and they won in the best jerseys in soccer too. Those jerseys are fire. I love those Argentinian jerseys.
Oh, the OG black, not black and white, blue and white. Yeah,
the blue and the light blue and white, man. God. Yeah, it was great to go from that Sunday slate of football that was bonkers in and of itself. Like, I need the World Cup in the fall every year. I know they did it because Qatar is hot in the summertime.
Yeah,
give me the World Cup in the fall, please. It was just awesome.
It was cool, man. Because holidays. Thanksgiving had just ended, and then the World Cup starts, and now, like, we're in such good mood coming into Christmas and the New Year. So I see what you're saying, man. Absolutely, it's cool. Yeah. And I'll say this too. I'm glad, because in the last World Cup in 2018, there was a lot of speculation that was Messi's last World Cup. And I believe, I might be wrong, as I am a lot of times, but I believe he had even said that was going to be his last World Cup. So it was kind of surprising for a lot of people to see him come back and play this year. And so, but he did it, and he won it finally. I mean, his rival, I've got to bring it up, Ronaldo. Great player. I can't, but I hope, and you know what? As a good player, it's like, I hope maybe Ronaldo does come back and play one more, because I think he's another player that deserves a World Cup trophy as well. I mean, he's done a lot to change the game as it is, and so, but it's good to see Messi come out victorious, and he's just a humble. Everyone likes him because he's just a humble guy, and for him to stay humble and work hard and come out victorious, I mean, that's just the story everybody loves to see, and I'm glad that it happened as it should have.
I will say this too. I mentioned it last time we talked about this. I had that Mahomes versus Brady in the Super Bowl comparison. This ended the same way, but this was better, dude. This. Have people that say soccer's boring. They didn't watch this. If they did, they wouldn't say soccer's boring. This won me over, man. Like, incredible final. Congrats to Argentina. Congrats to all of our Argentinian cave members. Man, excellent.
I'll say one more thing before we wrap it up here. As we've mentioned before, like, we had our very own Jarizi one time said, it's just 90 minutes of blue balls. Yo, there were no blue balls in this game. This was a straight, like, exciting game, and everything happened. It was That's all I gotta say. It was just great. So, just to finish the segment off with our little joke that we say. But anyways, this wraps it up for our December 20th segment of K Sports. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I am your host, Abra Sumente. I'm joined here by Phil the Burn. Earlier we had PQ, Soul Controller, and we had Kyle with his very first MMA analysis. So again, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Make sure to follow us on Discord, follow us on Instagram, and keep on the lookout. We release this every week, so looking forward to meeting up with everybody again next week for our next segment of K Sports. So that concludes it. Thanks everybody, and have a good night.
Be easy, y'all.
Easy. Well, it may not look like it, but I'm Vince McMahon, and you're fired.